Good evening, everyone. My name is Debbie Singleton, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I come to you live Monday evenings. Thank you so much for joining me. This evening, I have some fun stuff to share with you, and I have some interesting and fun news to share with you. We have an amazing offer for you. Actually, we have a couple of them, so let's get these things out of the way first. My printer was being funky. I don't know if it was my printer or if it was how the Stampin' Up! Shared it with us to print. I'm not really quite sure, but this particular flyer did not want to print correctly, and I'm way over here. So let's move this over here. I'm like way off tonight. So we have an amazing offer for you. Good evening, Mom. So if you, this between now and the end of the month, because I'm a little bit late sharing this with you, but you still have amazing amount of time. If you want to join Stampin' Up!, they've never had such a great deal before. And so, how did I get that? It's part of my, that's why this is not sitting right. This gets moved and then it comes off. There we go. So for $99, you can join Stampin' Up! And get $189 worth of product. That is amazing. Amazing. Or you can do, this is even better, $35 and get $125 worth of product. So you can pick which program you want, which dollar amount you want. I mean, it's amazing. So, and it's any product in the catalog at all. And that includes the new November stuff coming up on the online product that's coming out. So that's amazing stuff. So that's our first fun things that's happening. You get to pick which program you want to use. And I am using one of the suites tonight from the November online product. So now one of the nice things about being a demonstrator is you get to have the new product about a month before it actually goes live. So that's one of the fun things about it. Now, you don't have to do any lives, you don't have to have any shows, you don't have to do anything. You can just get the discount if you want to. So you don't have to do anything like having shows or doing anything. You can just order product and do the demonstrator. So let me know if you want to do that. Now we have another fun thing happening. They do this about a couple times a year. Free. I just got this email today. And of course, we just placed an order 2 days ago, didn't we? Free shipping coming the October 22nd and 24th. Yes, free shipping with $75 or more of your order, and then you get free shipping. So if you're going to place any kind of order, you want to do it within these couple of days. So it's the 22nd through the 24th of October. We all thought it was going to happen in December, but again, Stampin' Up! Just kind of throws it out there. We never know when it's going to happen. But typically, if we follow about when they do it year after year, December is usually when they do that, because they usually do it after they do online exclusive releases, and they do that in November. So who knows? Maybe they'll do it again. I don't know. But that's super fun. Free shipping can be a big game changer. If you have a big order, you get to have free shipping as long as it's $75 or more. So that's really fun. All right. So new online exclusives that are coming out for November for everybody. We get to order them in October. So they come due for everybody else November 3rd, I believe it is. I picked the Brushed with Beauty Suite Collection. However, I actually didn't use any of the stamp sets I tried really hard. I wanted to use this really pretty Petals of Beauty stamp set. Then the card that I decided I wanted to do, it just didn't work because the paper that I chose, this brushed with beauty paper, is absolutely stunning. So this paper, this is one side of this paper. Look at this paper. It is beautiful paper. It's gorgeous paper. That's the other side, which is nice as well because you can use it as a nice background paper. But I decided to use that paper. So here's another one that's really pretty. This is also going to be a really nice background paper. And this is just a little bit different than this one. This is just a little bit bolder than this one. But again, that's a nice colors in this paper. And here's another one. This will be a pretty background as well. And then there's a yellow one. Let's see. Oh, this is this one. Someone did a card with this paper. This is really pretty paper. There's the other side that's green. And let's see. Let's do this one. This is the orange back side. And then this one. That's really pretty as well. We have one more. I think. Again, these colors are absolutely gorgeous. I could have picked that one too. That's the one I did pick. See? I liked it so much. I want this one. I saw this one. This is what I wanted. This will be another nice, like, neutral one to pick for a background. And then that one as well is really pretty. So the colors in this, a nice little secret, when you get your designer series paper, on the very back of it, it always tells you what colors coordinate with the paper. So nice. So Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Secret Sea, and Very Vanilla. I thought that was very vanilla in there. So I chose my colors as Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. And those are the colors I'm going to work with. So because this paper is really, thank you. I loved the paper. And so working with the paper, I couldn't use the stamp set because there was already enough flowers in there. And there was already enough in there. So I tried it. I first of all really did try to stamp on the blank paper, and that was just too much busy going on. You could do it, but I didn't like it. Again, so I actually did jazz it up because, you know me, I do like to jazz some things up. So I actually did do some jazzing up a bit of it, of course. So that's the envelope. Here's the card. I made this a happy birthday. You can't tell. I stamped color on color, and I had to re-ink my stamp pad because I realized when I stamped this it was too light. So I did. It'll come out a little bit darker. But this is the Petal Pink, which is really pretty. So of course, you probably can't tell. Let me tilt it just, got to catch it just a little bit. I did emboss it with in this package. So this package actually has a lot of nice things. So it has 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets. Then it has an embossing folder, and it has vellum, which I haven't even gotten into. And then it has the designer series paper, and then it has the Pearls of Beauty, and these are shiny. These are really shiny. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the embossing folder. So I embossed this piece, and that really popped it. So I did make it so that it wasn't plain, but I tried to stamp on here with the flowers, and that was just too much flowers. But this paper is gorgeous paper, so I really enjoyed using the paper. So I wanted the paper to shine and it be the star, so I did that. Now, I did use a couple of things that are retired just because I really liked them. So I used the Unbounded Love stamp of Happy Birthday. Sorry. And I used this, I'm pretty sure it's Basic Beige. This is so pretty for the bow. I could have probably found something that, thank you. I was happy with the colors that I chose, and we could have probably done like a neutral background, but I really wanted the colors to pop in the car out of the flowers. So I hunted and I used the Basic Beige. So, you know, so those were the two things that I used that were retired. But all the other product is current product. So kind of, you know, just did that. To make this label, this is super exciting. So in the traditional labels, that's in the current yes, it is. I had to make sure that it is in the current mini catalog. So that's very exciting to know. And it is a whole package. There's a big bundle with that one. It's another big sweet set, but you can purchase it either with the dies. So the stamp set has dies, so you can purchase this as a bundle, or you can purchase the whole suite. It's a beautiful suite as well. But I used this die that comes in the traditional labels dies, and I really liked that. I thought that was really pretty. I didn't use the labels because it didn't have a birthday, because it's actually Christmas labels, but that doesn't look like a Christmas label, so I just used it. So I did use that, and that is current. And the embossing folder is, of course, out of the really pretty suite that we're going to use. And then, of course, I did the envelope. I cut the paper out for the envelope. So, and then these are the jewels out of there too. All right, so let's put the card together. And tonight I brought in my big cut and emboss machine so that I could show you how to emboss this. Now, this doesn't say that it is a 3D embossing folder. Usually they say right on there that they're a 3D embossing folder. However, when I tried to put it through my embossing stamp and emboss machine, I didn't want to force it. You should never force your machine to go through. So I put it through as if it were a 3D embossing folder, just because then it went through much nicer. So that being said, I will show you what the sandwich is for a 3D embossing folder. All right, so I cut some of the stuff, and then we're going to put it, we're going to do some of it together. So first, I cut the card base, and the card base is 8.5 by 5 1/4. So sorry, get my mind wrapped around what I'm doing. 8.5 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to change this, and I'm going to remove this and make this, yep. Okay, I'm going to take my face off just so that you can see this, just this all together. All right, All right, so I think that's I don't think I can do that. Let me know if you can still hear me, because I think that's my speaker. So I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can take myself off of there. I think I have to keep myself up there. Okay. Then they changed it. Okay. So 8.5 by 5.5 square at 4 1/4. So then that will be our card base. And then another thing that I did was this is the petal pink piece, and that is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. That's the piece we're going to emboss. So I'll show you how to emboss that. Then I did the inside piece that's also cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to stamp on that one. And I don't normally stamp on it. But I liked the saying that I picked. So then, of course, the envelope piece. And that I cut, I don't think I've ever said how I cut this, but it's 2 1/4 by 6. So, and then, all right, so this is the piece that I'm going to show you how we cut, because that is a tricky piece. And of course, then I cut that piece while I was cutting the other piece out. I just had another one. This is the strip that's going to go on the card that's going to hide that piece. So this is 5 1/2 by 1/2, and we're going to cut off the ends when we get it all glued on there. So the piece that's tricky is this DSP piece. So I'm going to show you how we cut that. But I'm going to glue this on because I always like to get the envelope piece glued on and get it drying. I'll show you how we cut that, and we're going to emboss that piece. So let's get this piece drying. I did bring another glue because I am kind of running out. I brought a piece of just an extra old piece of designer series paper to show you how to cut this piece. Because I had to cut one piece just to make it so that I could cut it on here. All right, so let me cut it by the size it is supposed to be. So you're going to cut your piece. It must be by 4. Yeah. All right, so this is going to be by 4. By 5 1/2. I thought I had cut this already earlier. Oh, it is by 5 1/4. Okay. Like I already cut that. 5 1/4 by 4. And like I already cut it down by 4. Right. So it's 5 1/4 by 4. It's the same size. And then you're going to eyeball it because there's not any, literally not any measurement. But when I watched the lady do this, she said about 1.5 inches. And I'm like, oh, okay. So literally I just kind of eyeballed this about 1.5 inches. And you're going to do it on an angle. So about another, so that's about 1.5 inches-ish. And then you just turn it at an angle, and it makes sure that this is about 1.5 inches this way. down here at the bottom. Can't really see. And so then you're going to cut this off. So it's going to just be all the way down here. You're just going to slice that like that. And it doesn't have to be precise because, see, that's how it's going to be. But when it gets on your card, you're going to put one, and this happens to be directional as well. So the piece that I have is directional. So this is going to sit at the bottom of the card, and this one's going to sit at the top of the card. So there's, and they're on two different pieces of cards, so it won't matter that it's not precise. What will matter is that, we're done with this, let me put this back. That if it's a directional print, that this is the piece that goes up here and that this is the piece that goes down here. So it doesn't matter that I didn't cut it evenly. Again, it was all eyeballed, but this is the one that will be glued there, and then the other one will be glued down here on two separate, so this makes two cards. So that's what I did. So this card earlier today, so this one will be glued here tonight, where the other one was glued down here. Okay. So I want to stamp, and I'm going to use my piercing mat, and I'm going to stamp the two things that I want to stamp. So I'm going to stamp. This has ridges as well, so this kind of comes up. This is kind of fun. This kind of comes up, but so it also has ridges. So that's really kind of fun. But I'm going to stamp my two things, so that's all done for me. So I have the happy birthday, and what I picked for the inside is also from the Unbound, and it says, upside down, may all your wishes come true. I love that for a birthday. Love that for a birthday. So I'm going to stamp that in the Calypso Coral. All right, so hopefully this isn't too juicy. I had to ink it, like I said, because you couldn't see it. So I'm going to try and not get it too juicy, but that already looks better. It was so light. Even the inside was really light. And I'm going to stamp that. Oh, much better. My other one was so light you could barely see it. So this one we should be able to see much better. The happy birthday we should be able to see better. Oh, yeah. All right. And it is at an angle. The stamp is at an angle. That's okay. It does fit in here. You just have to kind of tilt it till you see how it fits in here. And it's designed to be at an angle, so it'll be kind of fun when it gets in here. You'll see. It will fit in here, and it'll be really nice when it gets in here. Oh yeah, you can read that. I can even see that on the screen, that you can read that much better. Yeah, I forget to ink up my stamp pads, and they just need them to be inked every now and then. All right, good. So that's done. So now that that's done, so now I'm going to set these aside. Let's emboss this pink piece that we're going to do. All right, and so I'm going to take this out. So your embossing folder is like this, and here is a line with the Stampin' Up! And an easy way, especially since this is a small one, and this is a small piece of paper even, it's not really big. I like to line it up, the piece of paper and the line. Okay, maybe. They're not being nice and cooperating. That just makes it straight. Although these are like crisscrosses, so it probably wouldn't really matter too much, and you won't see it too much. Oh my goodness, I'm having an issue with lining this up. I do not normally. I just usually stick it in here and it lines up. There we go. There. So this line is pretty much lined up, and then it'll just be on that. So normally, if it's not a 3D embossing folder, you do a number 1, a number 3, and then put this in, and a number 3 on top. But I could not get it to go through, and so you're not supposed to force your plates. That will ruin them. So since it wouldn't go through, I'm going to act as if it's a 3D. So you always put a number 1. Number 1 always goes on there. And then you put your embossing folder with the fold, always, any embossing folder, always the fold goes in first. So I'm going to lay that down. And if it's a 3D, you use plate number 4. So there's my plate number 4, and that lays on top. And then we're going to just crank this, and you can't even see it in there. And yeah, see it goes over there. All right. So now we open this up. Oh my goodness, and that looks so nice. And there we go. That you can see that much better. That's the ridge side, and that's the other side. So on my other card, you couldn't see the ridge side because I had stamped on one side, and when I put this through, I put it through backwards just because I had already stamped on one side. But it doesn't really matter. If you want, you can use that side. See, you can use that side. It still looked pretty. You couldn't even tell. But this side is the bumpy side, so it doesn't really matter. So it still looks nice. Still looks fun. All right. Read it better. Oh yeah, you can read it better. Yep. Okay, so now we're ready to put, we want to assemble this before we put it all on here because we're going to cut this piece off. So we want to glue this on and then glue this piece on before we actually put it all, the rest of it all on. So we're going to want, I'm going to bring back, since I made a mess before, our silicone mat helps keep the glue off of everything. So I'm going to glue this. I'm going to put glue on this. All right, so this is directional, and so I think that it's going to go this way. All right. Trying to get it to the edge so that it doesn't look funky. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Nope. And my other one all the way to the edge. There we go. Okay. So now we want to hide that seam. In order to do that, all right, so, yeah. We're going to glue this strip that we cut, and we're going to glue it on there. And I put glue on this piece. I put glue here, not on my strip because we're going to cut the strip off. And I glued, I don't want that side, but that's okay. I cut this longer than the piece. So I put it about middle way. All right. And then now that that's on there, take my scissors and we can cut that off. And then we can cut this piece off. To remember to turn it this way because I was working with the other one and I was upside down. All right, so now what I want to do is let's put the inside in because I'm actually done with the inside. I thought about stamping on it, but it'll look fine because then you can write on the inside. You can also take a piece of extra DSP and put on the inside too. That kind of brings it all together. Okay. Alrighty, now we are ready to, now we can put this on the front because we can put the rest of the card together. I just wanted to put the assembly of this so we could cut this off before we actually have this on the card. You want to do that before you put that on the card. It'll be awfully hard to cut it once you've glued everything on. Okay. Yeah. So one of the nice things about Stampin' Up! Is they really do coordinate all the colors for you. And you just have to pick the colors you want to use, and you know, they kind of tell you what colors go together, and you just pick the colors and then you can put them all together. I mean, that just looks amazing. And of course, I used dimensionals for this. I wanted to be able to pop that up, still give it some more dimension. But I think using the embossing folder still gave this piece dimension. I really enjoyed that. Since I couldn't use the stamp set, I used it some other way. Still gave it some dimension by popping it up using the dimensionals. Now, then I used, of course, this tied this in. This does not look like beige. It looks more vanilla. That's why I used it. It's because it really does look more like vanilla. It's beautiful. And this is really a fun ribbon, and I haven't used it very much before, but I was like, ooh, this looks really good to use. All right, so we're going to tie a bow. So Sarah was trying to show me how to tie a better way to tie a bow, and I tried and tried and tried. I'm going to have to sit with her some more and have her show me again how to tie a bow. I learned from her the first time, but she's got a better way to tie a bow and at retreat, and I could not get it. And it was all about how not to have so much waste when I do bows. And she ties so many of them that she tries to not have so much waste when she does her bows. And I'm like, oh yeah, usually I have a bunch of waste. I have tails out to here. She's like, no, if she has this much waist she's got, that she didn't do it right. I'm like, yeah, well, I have more waist than I have bow. So she's like, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, obviously. So I was trying to do it her way, and I did not succeed. But it's practice, 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 of course. And that's how I got to tying really good bows in the first place, was she showed me how to do it. And I got really good at it. So I'm going to just have to sit down with her and have her show me how to do it her new way. So, all right, so we're going to take a dimensional and put this bow on with a dimensional. She's always been such a great bow tire. I've just always been jealous of how good she can tie a bow. All right, that one is way too long. Okay. Now I wrestled with, so there, I didn't really want to put this color on there. So I chose to put this, whatever this color is, it's probably a beige color on there, because I think that it stood out more. Then let me show you my card I made. So I think the beige stood out more if I put the beige on there than if I put the Calypso Coral on there. So I think that looks much better to put the beige on there. I mean, then that all, it matches, but I think the beige looks really pretty on there. It kind of really pops out. Thank you. My bows, I like my bows. I just use a lot of waste. So I want to try to use her waist, so I don't use a lot of waste. I cut off a lot of waste on my bows. I do make good bows. Thank you. I do. She did teach me how to make good bows. So, but yeah. There's always room for improvement. So I think I'm going to go with the beige. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. I think the beige just looks better. Not necessarily better, but I think it looks good. So, let's put the beige on here. They don't say anymore what these colors are. I have to look them up online. And then I put a little cheat sheet in here, and I haven't done that yet. I just got this set, so I have not done that. I was just happy to open it up and start using it. I'm in the Christmas mode, and I almost made this design with Christmas, but I'm like, nope, not yet. So, yes, I do like the beige. I think that the beige is very pretty. All right, and then we can cut off our excess from our envelope. And then the inside, that looks really nice too. Just kind of finishes that. There it is. Okay. When I do my envelope, because the glue kind of goes everywhere, I do try to not use my good scissors, because glue just kind of sits everywhere, and I don't want them to get all yucky. So if these get yucky with glue, I can just throw them away. I always buy a bunch of them when school starts. I always buy a bunch of these scissors on sale, so it doesn't matter. They get all gummied. That's so pretty. This paper is just gorgeous. All right. Can't even tell anymore. So this is the new packaging that we have. So the packaging comes really tall for both the dies and the stamp set. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to store these and what I'm going to do with them yet. But as of the November online exclusives, this is how everything's going to be packaged. They're not going to put it in the stamp sets won't be in these cases anymore. So it's going to be interesting. But these are the dies and one of the sets out of the whole suite that is in there. But this stamp set is a 2-stamp process. So that's why I wanted to use it. So you stamp this one and then you stamp this one, and it makes it really pretty. I think I threw away what I was playing with. But it makes it super pretty. So you stamp one light and one dark. And so I stamped one with the Calypso Coral and I stamped the other with the Petal Pink. So I'll play with it on another card where I won't use this beautiful paper. So maybe I'll just use the stamp set and use the stamp set as being the focal point. But I just thought this paper was too pretty to add the flower embellishments to it. It made it way too much. So I didn't want to do that. So I just used that. And then Christmas time is coming, and I have a Christmas card workshop coming up. So if you don't have anything to do and you should be thinking about making your Christmas cards and sending them out, or if you're busy, I'll make them for you. But my Christmas workshop is on November 11th. All the information is down below, but contact me and let me know if you're interested so that I can make the cards ahead of time and have them all ready for you before you come to workshop. I would sure love to have you come to workshop and make cards with us. Let me know. Also, my information is down below to contact me if you should need anything. Again, I think everything goes live for the new online exclusives November 3rd for everybody. And there'll be new and fun, exciting things. That was just one of the suites, and I know there's a bunch more stamp sets that they're rolling out, but there's some really fun, exciting things that are happening with the stamp sets, and I have a few of them, and I'm getting some more in, so I'll be playing with those, but I'll be doing some Christmas stuff too, so I'll play with both things. I'll get both of them up and running. Anyways, I will I will add me. There we go. I just thought, so I have been watching a lot of everybody's feeds and stuff, and I've been noticing that a lot of people don't show their face. A lot of people just show what they do. They don't even have a 2-screen setup. So I'm just wondering if I'm just going to just do a 1-screen setup. I'm not sure yet. So that's why it took me away, is I'm like, you don't need to watch me. You just need to watch what I'm doing instead of just watching me and my what I'm doing setup screen. So I'm just kind of playing with things. I also they've redone my whole streaming, who I use for streaming. So I haven't even gotten used to how I'm doing that. So I'm just kind of playing with that a little bit. Just a lot of new things that I haven't even played with yet in my streaming whole thing. So just a lot of new things, a lot of new things. But I will play with something new and share with you next week. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend and have a great week coming up. Let me know if you need anything. I'd be happy to help you and get you going. Otherwise, I will see you next Monday. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.